1, 2, 3. Hi folks, I'm doing another one of these walking the dog podcast things, and again you may get some background noise with the dog leads and whatnot rattling away. Now I'm doing this on I think it's Monday today. It's been pouring down, so I'm coming out a bit later than I planned. I'm basically walking the dogs to the shop because I'm looking after my mate's cat, who's very elderly. She's about 20 and she's got severe health problems. I think her kidneys are failing her. She's supposed to be on a special diet, but she's a little devil and won't eat everything's given to her. And basically I'm having to go to the shop because she's fussy about what she eats. She'll eat something one day and then next day turn her nose up, and the trouble is she has to eat. So I'm having to go buy her some more food. So that's where I'm going today. But as it's been raining, I'm hoping there's going to be very few people out walking the dogs and stuff. Hopefully the rain's put people off. God, sorry, the rattling in the background, mate. I don't know if that picks up. I did one podcast yesterday, and like an idiot, I don't know if it's because I was half asleep, probably was, or because I'm dyslexic, and when I'm tired I find I do mess up a few times. And I plugged the mic into the headphone socket, so I was for about, I think I did 40 minutes rattling off, thinking, oh, this is marvellous, I'm doing a brilliant job here. And all you could hear were muffled sound in the background because the main recorder's in my pocket and I've got the mic clipped onto myself. I found that's the easiest way. Now, I don't know if it gives the best quality sound, but it just means that I've got my hands free to, carry bags or whatnot. And I can almost just talk to myself without being as conscious, should I say. The subject, I might do it again. I thought at the time it was marvellous, but I can't be bothered at the moment. I don't think it was as great as I thought it was. I was just discussing how the left wing have been nuked by their own nuclear weapon. And I was discussing the fact that such as the left wing, especially the feminists, are now getting upset because they're getting banned for being anti-trans people. And the fact now, in the past, they would argue that I don't know what's going on there. They would argue the fact that those who advocate free speech, while right-wing Nazis, for some reason, apparently, if you believe in free speech and you're on the left, if you're not on the left and you believe in free speech, you're somehow a neo-Nazi or something. I don't know. I don't understand that, but that seems to be the logic. So now they're all getting upset because, often when I see the feminists, all they do is post abuse about trans. They're not 99.99. It's just isn't a sort of debate, argument on Twitter or anything. It's just, people who are trans are perverts or something. That's all they seem to type. And more than debate anything, they just want. I think there's a sort of jealousy because they want to feel special to the women folk, and they don't like it. Others have been dragged into. I don't think that makes any sense at all. But anyway, I'll talk about that another day because I'm not in the mood to just chat about that. So this one is about, should models get tattoos and or plastic surgery, i.e. big boobs. Now, this is my own opinion. Sometimes when I do blog posts and things, I try and back everything up with evidence. This literally is one of them times it's simply an opinion-based one, and I represent myself, don't represent anyone else. But it's like a lot of opinions. It doesn't really. The way I always see opinions is it's a bit like standing 1,000 people surrounding a tree. Some might be close to the tree, some might be a mile away, etc. And they'll be at different angles. Now, if you was to ask everyone to describe that tree, it'd all be different, yet none of them are incorrect because it's their own viewpoint, and that's how views are sometimes are. Doesn't mean because somebody's got a different view to you, they're no more incorrect than correct. It can be just because they've got a different perspective on things, which is often the case. When people start getting all wound up with each other, sometimes it's worth listening to people's points of views and considering that, well, you might be correct, they also might be correct, and that's sometimes the difficulty. It's a bit like when it comes to legalising drugs. In reality, I've heard people such as Pete Hitchinson's, who's been anti-drugs, and it makes lots of valid points which I think are probably correct, and he probably can back them up. But I've also heard people who are pro-drugs give valid points. Now, the difference I would argue, in my opinion, I mean, I'm not pro-drugs, but I think they should be legalised, because I don't think it does any good making them illegal except to criminalise people. I think people would take them regardless, and sometimes I think it excites people, and people might even be tempted to take drugs more when they are illegal. It's a bit like when I was at school. One of the reasons I've never smoked is because my nan sent me out to buy cigs, and I was buying them at the age of probably about 5, and they just didn't interest me. While my friends used to go out and buy them just to feel older, and because it was illegal for them to do so. I mean, the shops didn't care at the time, they just sold to anyone. I don't know if someone's around, so I'm just going to have to be careful, folks. I thought I heard somebody. Hang on. Just walking down this hill. I can hear people in the background, but I'm not sure if they're coming this way. No, darn it. I think they are. Right. If it jumps, it's because I'm editing stuff out. I'm not sure, actually. Can I see somebody? Can I hear some? Oh, there's someone over there. Hang on. I'll just not say anything for a minute. Sandy, come. Okay folks, I'm back. If the sound just jumps, it's because I cut out a bit of the silence as I'm walking. There's somebody behind me, but I'm not sure if they are. They're quite a way off. There's no point leaving in the silence, the gaps. And sometimes I do if it's only a few seconds. It's a pain in the ass to keep editing stuff out. Anyway, let's go on to, before we discuss the old plastic surgery and tattoos, I thought I was going to leave this till last, but I'll probably forget if I do. So I'm going to stick at this point. Is some of the feminists use an argument. They use this word called pornification, such as Gail Dines, and they seem to suggest by doing this, because I think they've got. If you ever listen to the anti-porn people, they don't really have any arguments anymore with porn itself, so they haven't expanded it to encompass other things. Because in the past they tried embarrassing people by saying it was just dirty old men who watch porn, and it turns out that we find women watch it as well, not as much as men, but not as far off. And now it's been it's sort of mainstream now, because all the comedians talk about watching it, even women comedians, and that's left-wing comedians. So they've sort of their arguments is weakening up completely, where they're trying to humiliate people is sort of getting weaker and weaker, and I think people see through the fact that they're anti-working class women and they're not supporting women's choices and what they do with their bodies, which makes them look rather foolish when they claim to be pro-women and pro-women choice. Well, anyway, one of the things I've seen, and this is one of the arguments you might come across, is the argument is that women are getting plastic surgery, etc., because of what they call pornification. The argument seems to be they're making out that it's because they see women doing porn, doing all this. Well, in reality, I'm going to suggest it's not. Well, I mean, I think a lot of women in porn are actually natural. It's not like every woman in porn has got plastic surgery. You'll find a lot of flat-chested, and they're not all slim. Some are very overweight. You've got alt models, Asian models, all sorts of different types. There's basically the old argument I've always said is, doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you're over 18, you can do well doing porn. I've seen women in their 80s do it. So they try and use this pornification. I'd argue it's more, women might be more influenced by Instagram and such. That's why you could argue that porn might be more beneficial to women in many ways, because they can see real women being liked by, they might get millions of views on YouTube, I mean Pornhub or something, rather than the falsy Instagram image you get. I mean, I think a lot of it is Instagram related more than porn, but no one questions. Again, my argument has always been no one actually questions, such as Gail Dines or the feminists. They're just allowed to state pornification and their conclusions without really providing evidence. I'm just sticking that in. I might go into it further. I mean, I'll probably later on cover some of Gail Dines' videos, going through point by point everything she says. Anyway, so let's go on to the first part. Well, should you get plastic surgery or tattoos? Now, I'll cover the tattoos first of all. And by the way, I'm not telling you what to do with your bodies. If you want tattoos or plastic surgery, that's up to you. But I'm just giving you it from my perspective, some thoughts. Now, with tattoos, everyone's getting them now. So if you get one, think on. So I've got a feeling in a few years we'll find people not getting them. It'll be the trend not to have them, because everyone under the sun's got them. All the middle classes, everyone. It's no longer, oh God, there's people doing it. That doesn't matter. But everyone under the sun's got them now, and I've got a feeling in time people just think of them as everyone, when everyone's got them, you get bored. Let me just check. People behind me don't want to. Oh. I'll just wait till they pass.
Thank you.
Guys. Alright folks, the past. I'm not sure if they heard me or not. One of them just said it was 4 o'clock and I thought it's not. I thought it was about 1 o'clock. I just checked and it is 4 o'clock. Time does fly. Oh, hang on. Not sure if the water from the wet leaves off the trees is falling down, so I don't know if it'll hit the mic. I'm not sure if it'll damage it. It's only a cheap mic, if it does. Although it's a nice one, I don't really want to damage it. Okay, now I started off, I haven't talked a lot about tattoos. Now, again, if you want them, I ain't telling you to get them or not, but there's things you've got to think about. Now, it's one thing if you're an alt model, they look good, but I see a lot, I mean, it's like one model. She went and had a kid's face put on her leg, which when you're doing an adult shoe, I don't think people want to hire her because she's got a kid's baby's face on her leg. Looks a bit weird. Also, when people do faces, I always think you've got to be very careful, because often faces don't look that good. And one of the worst things I always think on people. Not to mention, as you get older, they're going to look weird. But if you're going to get one, at least check out who does them, because over the years I've seen some really bad ones and I've seen some excellent ones. Somebody I knew had the worst one. I thought it was a joke at first. They showed me it was like stars. I think it was on their arm. It looked really dreadful. It wasn't even joined up. It looked as amateurish as you could imagine. Actually, it looked like someone had done it themselves in prison, drugged out the head. Now, she was proud of it, but I think sometimes people forget you're walking around and people will see, and if they look down and see something like that, people do judge. And if it looks like it's been done in prison, they're going to think, oh, she's as rough as they come. So at least if you're going to get it done, get a quality one. And possibly put it where, let's say on your back or somewhere, where if you're not into being, I see people just get one just as because they think, oh, it's the thing to do, just have a one off, but they're not into tattoos. And the trouble is, then they often regret it. And after a level, none of the sons getting a tattoo now. They're not sort of special, you know. When people see you, people go, ooh, it's not like the old days. And I mean, to be honest, there's nothing worse. I saw an 80-year-old woman have a full body one, and it looked to me horrible. She was walking to, I saw her as she was walking across, presumably her grandkid, she was taking at school. I thought, oh God, and she was in shorts and short sleeves, and all her body was done, and it looked like it'd only just been done. I thought, God, I don't think I'd want my grandmother walking to me to school like that. But again, maybe I'm being old-fashioned. But I know, hang on, I can hear someone. It has put photographers off booking models because of a single tattoo. Now, if you're not a model, it's different. I mean, I like tattoos, and I'm not one of these who hate tattoos. It's just bad ones and badly placed, and some of them, you see people just put writing on them, and it's just weird, some of them. They're not very well thought out. I mean, alright, it might be personal to you, and you might say, well, yes, it means a lot, but it doesn't to anyone else. And if someone wants to book you, this is what you've got to think. You might end up losing out on shoots, and it could be a lot of shoots simply because you're covered in tattoos that aren't very good or just don't suit you. Hang on, just walking around the corner, I can hear somebody, so. Okay, I'm back. So, just passing somebody. Now, there's more people out today than I expected, otherwise I'd have done this a bit later. Right, so I've just talked briefly about tattoos, and like I say, if you're going to get one, have a look around, because I've seen people with dreadful looking tattoos, because the guy, I presume this guy, maybe a woman, who did the tattoos has no idea. To be honest, I see some, I think, God, I could have done better. Like I say, this tattoo, these stars that on somebody, it was the most ugliest thing I've ever seen. Just looked dreadful. And I thought, well, you could have gone somewhere different and they'd have at least looked nice. They'll look decent. I mean, for a start off, the stars didn't even join up. There were like gaps in it. I mean, it was as amateurish as they come. I mean, it looked really awful. I mean, for several days I actually thought she was having me on. It was a joke, but anyway. I don't know if she's still got them. I don't bother with anymore. She was a bit of a weirdo. She wasn't a model, by the way, just somebody I knew. So now we'll go on to the old plastic surgery. Now often I see it, the amount of women I see who think that if they get big boobs it's going to give them a lot more work, and I don't think that's the case. I mean, I've seen people models have got, and they just look dreadful. And the first thing to note, and you don't always see it on the pictures because a lot of times they edit them out, is under the boob. There's several ways they put in tattoos. They put false boobs onto you. The most common seems to be under the breast itself, where they basically do a big hole, they do a slice, shove the bag in. Oh, by the way, don't forget, some of these turn out the bits start to leak and stuff, so there's health risks to this stuff as well. But anyway, they just make an incision, and then for a few days I think the gap is open because I think your body sort of some liquid or something comes out, and then they sew you up, and what you tend to find is there's a big scar underneath. Some I've seen do it through the nipple, and I've heard you can do it through the side, but to be fair, I've never come across a model yet who's done it through the side. And then for a while, because you're traumatising the breast tissue, the breast is usually very firm, almost unnatural looking, especially if people go very large. The skin doesn't stretch. So if you're thinking of it, check out who your surgeon is, see other women, look under the scarring, but notice that, because quite honestly, hang on, I'm coming up to a road, so I don't know if you'll hear me okay. You do get huge scars, and I've heard a lot of photographers not bother with people with false breasts, and don't think that big boob is the big selling thing. You can be flat as chested as anything and still make a killing. I've always said that women who are flat chested are such fewer that they get loads of work, and I have seen women models who they turn work away because they've literally got they're flat as anything. They don't wear bras or anything, and they're happy as Lara. Because they're making a fortune. Hang on, folks, I'm just walking up to the road now, so this is where things get a bit noisy. Last time I did this, all you could hear was cars going past. I'll just keep talking, I can't be bothered editing this out unless it's really bad. So it's just a minute or two before I cross over. Then it gets a bit quieter again. But as that chap that walked past me said, it's 4 o'clock-ish, so people leave from work and so on. Oh God. I didn't really want to get cat food this time because the local shops don't sell what she's eating. So I'm having to drive off for the miles away just to find the damn food she likes. Here we go, woo woo woo, everyone's zooming. All the dickheads who they've got their spoofed up little cars and think they're gangsters, zooming around. There we go. You zoom around in the little, any car, you're just a prat basically. I see people almost crashing their cars, and I think they're as if we're impressed. I've had people zoom past me and think, they must look at me as if they think I'm going, oh, I'm so jealous, I just think you're Burke. No. You're the one burning your fuel off and damaging your car. 8 crossing road, so I'll go for it. Here we go, probably fall over and get run over. That's it. Oh dear. Right. Moving away from the traffic now. So, as I say, the point I'm trying to make is think twice. If you think getting big boobies is going to make you a lot of work, I don't think it will. It might do in a few cases, but I've seen a lot of models get them and suddenly lost work. I've seen some stunning models who really never needed breast implants. I mean, to be fair, 99% of people probably don't, especially who have plastic surgery, don't probably need it. I mean, it's when you go naked, that's when you see it. They look alright in, say, if you've got a skirt on, because they're there, but it's when you strip off. Now, if you want a little bit of advice, this is going off. The best beauty advice I can ever give anyone is don't smoke and don't drink, but smoking especially, because I see it all the time. Women who smoke when they're naked look much older than those who don't. And if you ever want to eat healthy, I mean, if you ever look, the best ways you can check this out is see who looks good in their 70s. And they're usually always non-smokers and eat healthy. I mean, I don't think you necessarily need to run around jogging 24/7, which I see a lot of people do. I mean, those in the 70s who look stunning, I doubt most of them don't look as if they've ever jogged once. I think it's just a decent diet, no smoking, little if no drink, as in alcohol, certainly no drugs, and not stuffing yourself with burgers. If you do that, you should look stunning. It's, I mean, I always have this laugh about someone I knew would smoke heavily, but she'd also take, what is it, that bee stuff, there was a trend that queen bees, so it was like, I don't think it was honey, it was something the queen bee produced, and she was taking that as if that's going to make any difference. Well, you know, and I've seen other people do it. I see smokers who then go out and eat organic food. Well, defeats the object. Quit smoking. Stop pretending that smoking doesn't damage you. If you smoke, you can do a lot of things, but I think the effect's pretty small. It's more psychological, just make you feel thinking that you've got some control. Not to mention the health issues. I mean, if you smoke heavy, you probably increase your chance of getting cancer or something. And also, actually, at shoots, it's not particularly nice to have a model suddenly start smoking in front of you when you don't smoke. Hang on. There's someone in front of me now. So, what you do if you want to get tattoos or plastic surgery, at very least, one, think about it, and if you still want to do it, at least go for the best. Don't cut corners and get someone who's cheap, because, quite honestly, you can see a difference between good and bad work. And remember, if you get false boobs, the chances are you're going to have a big scar underneath, and I don't mean a little thing that you won't notice. You notice it. Photographers usually edit it out, but I don't really think you're going to get extra work from it. I mean, some might book you for it. You see, again, if you're an alt model, it sort of suits you more. You can have that plastic doll, Barbie doll look, but I mean, I've shot models who they'd have been making a fortune, and you're just going, oh no, they've got plastic false boobs, and seriously, you're just thinking, why? A few years ago, there's been 2 or 3 especially who were stunning. I mean, they had this sort of posh look to them, incredibly attractive. I mean, seriously, incredibly attractive. And then suddenly you see the false boobs and you go, oh God. I mean, I've seen models that have gone, oh, I'm going to shoot her over and over, and then suddenly you see these false boobs and you go, no, it's not worth it. I'll do one shoot and that's that. In fact, one model I've seen, sites that I've shot are still just showing the ones when she didn't have false boobs. I mean, she had them done. I shot a model, and it must have been going back about 5 years, say, when she had these false boobs done. I just don't see her on any sites now with them. I mean, I think she's also doing that thing where she's pretending she's never done anything adult. You know, she's changing her name and stuff. I don't know. Maybe she thinks it's more money in it, but she was stunning. I mean, you'd have set up a... I mean, when I first met, I thought, oh shit, if it weren't for the distance, I'd have just done a site, just shot her permanently. But she was quite a few miles from it. It wouldn't have been worth the travel. But it's just... And it is, you do see, it's interesting when you see some sites, they'll post pictures that they pretend they've just done recently, and you know they couldn't be more than, they must be at least 5 years old, because it's 5 years since they've had any work done. But again, if you want them, that's down to you. It's not my... I mean, I still shoot models with false boobs, but you know, I'm not shooting models because they've got false boobs. It's just if they've usually got a pretty face or not. I mean, I personally think flat is done it. I mean, I've shot models, if they've been flat on purpose. There's a few I plan to shoot, and obviously with the lockdown, some aren't doing things. And by the way, if you're a model, try not to be a jerk, because I do contact quite a few, and some just give you attitude from very beginning. I'll give you an example. I asked, once said, oh, she was doing some shoots, and I said, oh, when are you free? And she gave me I think it was 8 a.m. time. And it was about 200 miles away, and I went, nah. I said, it'll have to be in the afternoon, because I'm driving to you, and I mean, to get there for that time, I mean, getting up at 2 a.m. So she said, then she started, so she gave me another day, and I says, no, I'm afraid I'm busy that day. And I says, but I mean, it was the only day I wasn't free. And I says, are there any other days? And the reply was, oh, don't contact me again, you're just messing me about. And I'm thinking, well, you know, fair enough, I mean, I haven't. But then it's the same person who's then asking for shoots because she's not getting any. It's a little wonder. I mean, I couldn't care less, but I'm sure the photographers, I mean, I do know photographers tell each other if they've had bad experiences. They tend not to post on the model's page. So some of them have reviews. I'm walking alongside the road again. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm very careful about posting reviews, because in the past I've only mentioned one model I said, which was, she was grumpy all the way through, and I'm just walking past. She was, from the very beginning, she was literally, I mean, it's the only time I ever stopped to shoot halfway through, and I just gave her the money. So it was just pointless, she wasn't smiling or anything. And somebody asked me what she was like, and I went, well, she was miserable. And then I got grief from her for months, claiming I destroyed her modelling career for that one comment. It was just to one person. And since then, no, I don't bother. It's not worth the grief doing reviews of people. Because after all, someone else might have a good experience with somebody. You know, it might have been just that one day. The next day she might have been really cheerful. I mean, I think she quit. But you just, the grief you get is unbelievable sometimes. You learn by these things. So it's just not worth it. Now, but anyway, that's just a few points. But like I say, all this is just my point of view, personal experience, my thoughts. Other people probably have different. I could be probably wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying have a think before you go out and do something that's permanent, because if you think this is going to make you a fortune, I mean, I've seen models go out who are stunning, get the worst boob job, and because they think now they've still got big boobs, they're in demand, suddenly whack up the prices to something ridiculous. Now, you know, and then they wonder why I'm not wanting to book them. Well, I didn't want to book them because they ruin their bodies with the, I mean, literally have. I've seen someone just destroy themselves. I mean, one of the big problems I find is people usually go way too big sometimes, so the skin, like I say, it firms up and doesn't look natural. Where it usually works is just to go slightly up. But again, yes, I don't think women need plastic surgery. It's 99.99%. People say I'm getting plastic surgery and going, why? You look fine. And then they come back with these weird shapes on the chest, and they don't move. I mean, one of the things about false boobs is if you lay down with normal boobs, your breast sort of spreads a bit and it looks natural and quite attractive. But false boobs don't, they're just permanently there. I mean, they look so false sometimes, it's just not sexy to me. I mean, maybe other people find it sexy, but a lot of it is down to who's done it, how big you've gone and whatnot. Anyway, it's something to think about. Again, you might be shouting saying, oh, you're wrong, you're an idiot, and fair enough, I probably am. But I can only go by my own thoughts on this. No point me pretending that I think all plastic surgery looks brilliant and it's necessary, because that's not being honest, that's a lie. I don't think it's needed, and a lot of times I've seen people ruin themselves. Now again, if you're an alt model, things are a bit different. Again, I'm not anti-tattoos. I've seen some stunning ones. I mean, the detail's incredible on some tattoos. I've actually shot models because of the tattoos, just because I've been that impressed with them. You can't believe how brilliant they are. But like I say, I've seen some, like them stars, you just look like I don't know, as if you've done time in some sort of weird women's prison where you're high on drugs and done it yourself with a broken felt tip pen or something. But anyway, that's just me for today. Not sure if this will record. Often I do these and find I'm not even pressed record. Half asleep. But again, it just gets stuff off my chest, some of my thoughts out my head. It's almost like a mental relief sometimes, just to get thoughts out rather than build them up. Alright then, ciao.